All right, everybody. Welcome to Wisdom Keys, and I'm Brother Francis. This is an opportunity for you to hear some wisdom keys, and I hope that whatever I have for you is helpful. I'm just going to double check to make sure my voice is coming across, which I believe that it is. My voice is coming across. And yes, it is. So, today's topic is boy, is it hot in my apartment. No, that's not it. Today's topic is the joy of being you, and the rest of the subtitle is the joy of being you is more powerful when you envision it. So, the joy of being you, or the joy is being you, and it's more powerful when you envision it. So, why did I choose such a long topic title? Well, many of us are thinking about how can we find joy at such a time of this quote unquote pandemic that we're going through, and any other thing that we are going through, any other event in our life, whether it's you're, you know, becoming a senior, or you are dealing with some kind of health condition. Maybe you might be one who has experienced various disabilities, or you have one already that's long term, or you're unemployed, or the work that you have chosen to do, or that you feel that you're supposed to do, is not going anywhere, it's just spinning in circles, or you're in a dysfunctional relationship, or you're dealing with family members who are dysfunctional, or maybe you're coming out of a situation where it's kind of dark in your head right now. You're not sure how you're going to be, or what you need to do, or how can you strive to make things better when you've done everything that you can possibly do for yourself, especially when you're living alone, or you're living with someone and you feel like you're living alone. So, what are the things, or what is the one thing we need to do? And it doesn't matter who you're listening to, whether it's Super Soul Sunday, or someone out there already doing what they're doing in terms of their teaching or sharing. And me, it's a sharing. One of the things is joy. And what I've discovered in observation, as well as seeing myself in various relationship patterns, when we don't serve ourselves joy, when we're not making ourselves happy, and we're depending upon someone else, your partner, your romantic partner, your life partner, your friend, your mom and dad, your sibling, your neighbor, your co-worker, anybody, when you're leaving it on someone else's doorstep to make you happy, you definitely are not going to be a happy camper, because you are taking on the robe of victimhood. And that's not something you need to do. You might find yourself sabotaging a relationship, or sabotaging yourself. How would you sabotage yourself? You don't think you're worth anything. You don't think you have any value to yourself, let alone to anybody else. So you will create these hurdles over and over and over, because you're seeking to sing the song of a victim. Now, I'm not talking about someone who's in a really bad, terrible, abusive relationship, because that person can't help that. They're trapped in that, and they have to find a way to come out of that. Maybe they're dealing with a person who's extremely narcissistic, as well as being a bully, as well as showing them that, oh, they're the victim and the one who they made the victim is not the victim. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you have this opportunity to make yourself happy and you don't do it. So, what are some of the things that you would find with yourself that can cause yourself to grow in happiness just for yourself? What are the things that make you happy? People say now, they use the word passion. What are you passionate about? Is it art? Creating art? Is it creating music? Is it fixing old musical instruments? Is it fixing like old things that are like kind of antiquish? Is it building something? Is it a hobby where you're doing puzzles? What is your passion? You got to find out what that is for yourself. Because sometimes your passion could present joy to you. Or if it's not something outside of yourself that you're doing, bring it from the inside to the outside into a material thing, materialization. What could it be? And we all go through it. I'm talking about matters that I experience off and on from time to time in my own life. Because it doesn't matter what path you are walking on. Doesn't matter if you're walking a corporate path, if you're a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire. You can look in the news and you can see all these people that have money. There are points in their life where they're not happy even though they have that kind of money. They can go anywhere in the world. They can sit with the king and the queen of Jubapi if they want. They're still unhappy. So we have to locate the joy parts in ourselves. We have to find out what makes us passionate about living for yourself. What makes you really happy? And I'm thinking about putting a meditation in this, where a silent meditation where you can hear for yourself what joy can mean for you. Now, some of us might be able to slide right into that silent chamber and hear it, or I think I'll couple it with a little bit of a guided journey so that you could experience the two, or the opportunities of the two, to create a better environment in your mind, because the environment has to be here. The late Reverend Ike used to call it the theater of the mind. How you can go within your mind and create an image of yourself, then see yourself, and then correct yourself. So get out a pad and paper, and I want you to write down 3 things about yourself that make you passionate when it comes to living your life for yourself. Just pick 3 things. Give you an example. You might have the joy of helping others. That's just one. But it's got to be something that gives you joy, that serves you joy. So try to think of 3 things and then write those 3 things down. Sort of like a homework assignment we're building up here. But we're going to use them in the meditation. And if you only come up with one, it's okay. At least you have something on paper that you have considered or thought about or felt, which is even better, felt that gives you passion. Passion means gives you the enthusiasm. What? It gives you the will to live. What are you living for? And keep in mind that whatever you're writing down is going to be your passion. Now, this may not be the passion forever, but it's the passion in this moment, right now. Now, I'm going to assume that all of you have it. The next step is put your feeling into it. what you just wrote. How does each word speak to you? What is the level of sensitivity and the level of intensity of what you just wrote? Do the words come alive on the page when you wrote it? Do these ideas have energy in them? Because when you look at the word passion, half the word is pass, and the other half of the word is ion. And an ion is a charged particle of light, of energy. So when you have a passion, can you pass that energy? Can you receive it? Can you give it to yourself like a quarterback and being a halfback and receive it? Can you pass it along to yourself from your higher self into your current self? So let's assume you have 1, 2, or 3. And I'm asking you to feel the words that you just wrote down on paper. How do they feel to you? Do you feel a sense of joy? Sense means direction. Do you feel like you're directed to feeling joyful about it? Today's topic is the joy of being you. So when you wrote down 1, 2, or 3 things that you're passionate about, that you feel that bring you joy, are they bringing you joy in this very moment? Do you feel excited about those words? Now you may have to line through them and write it again. But if that's the case, it's all right. Why? Because you're becoming more definitive with what you're saying. And it allows you to do what? Get to the core, the inner you. Some people's joy is in the end when they do all of this exercises. Some people's joy turns out to be all they just wanted some peace and quiet, and they're happy. That's what some people finally get to the root, to the core. They just want to be at a state of peace. They want to feel in a state of harmony. Then they have the happiness. Then they have the joy. So I want you to consider those words that you wrote down. No one else wrote these words but you. Which tells you what? That you have control over what you're thinking and what you're feeling. You've got to think it through, but you've got to feel it. So in other words, if it doesn't feel right, don't speak it. That's like if you're writing this, turning it to an affirmation. I affirm that this is my joy today. But if it don't feel like it's your joy today, don't do it. Why? Because you want to be honest, truthful to yourself. You want to be real, or what's the favorite word people use? Authentic. You want to be original. So sometimes you have to write 5 or 3 to get it down to just 1. So when we get it down to just 1, now we can affirm it. We can say, I affirm that this is true, that this is where I am. I feel greater joy here than there. But you don't have to go in comparison. Just go with the most powerful word, phrase, or statement that feels right because it feels like it's you. Now you can give yourself a treatment. You can say the God in you, whatever that is, the God in you, all of creation, all of the universe, and you are one and the same. And therefore, when you speak the word of joy, that the passion that gives you joy, that is in the universe. It resounds and it reverberates and it comes back to you. The ancient people of Kemet or German of Egypt, they said the same thing. The universe is mental. So they put it out there, it comes back. They just got to be ready to receive it. So when you think about joy, is the joy that you are creating, because that's what it boils down to. Why would you be passionate and joyful? Because you're creating it for yourself. And only you would know what to create for yourself. I might have an idea what to create for you. I might hear it from my guides, from the angels, from my ancestors. What to help create for you so you can walk in the door and feel safe and feel the passion for yourself. But it really boils down to what you're feeling and what you know and what you understand. So, what is the joy of being you? It's like living in this moment right now. What is most important for you to express, not just to someone else outside of yourself, but to yourself? What would that, out of those three things that you wrote down, which one of them speaks the loudest to you that you could affirm that that's what it is? When you affirm something, you're saying, you're acknowledging that those words are real. They're true to you. And when you turn it into what they call like an affirmative prayer, you're just saying it's reflected in the universe back to yourself. Therefore, you could treat yourself now. That statement is a perfect statement within itself that feels right for you. Therefore, it will work for you because you could feel it working for you. And now, you're ready to meditate on it. Now, meditation is not contemplation. We're not going to think about it. We're going to take those words that we wrote down and we're going to feel them in our meditation. So let's all sit up straight, feel comfortable. Feet flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. That's one cycle of breath. Do that a few times just to get rid of some static energy in the mouth, the nasal passage, the upper part of your lungs, and out of your body in general. And keep in mind that those miniature pores on your skin, they breathe as well. They dilate too. The more relaxed you become. Just like the pupils dilate, the more relaxed you become. Which is really the iris opening and closing. Now you go into just normal breathing for yourself. You're focusing on that feeling of joy. What makes you joyful? What brings greater joy into your life? And no matter what is happening around you, you always have this sense of joy to go into. The cavern of joy, the womb of joy. You become the infinite seeds of joy, the expression of joy. Now, I want you to envision it. I want you to have the vision on the inside of you. And again, go with your feeling first. What would the vision feel like before it looks like to you? And as you go within in this very moment, I want you to smile. Create a small smile on your face into your heart center, into your heart chakra. The heart chakra is the seat, the throne of grace divine or divine grace, unconditional love, understanding, and compassion, of great healing, infinite healing, and wholeness. It is the bridge between the upper world, throat chakra, brow, crown, top of the head, right and left temple, base of the skull. It is the bridge between those worlds and the lower world, solar plexus, navel, right? Going all the way down, kidneys, adrenals, intestines, stomach, liver, pancreas, gallbladder, all of those guys. All the way down into the abdomen, pelvis, and out your body. Just feel it. Just feel it. Feel it when you inhale on the words. What kind of energy are you receiving? Are they going into a sound that you hear? When you breathe like this, do you breathe with a sense of urgency, nervousness, or are you 180 degrees opposite? You're feeling very relaxed. You feel the muscles in the face relax. They smooth out. Had any wrinkles here? They smooth out. The heaviness that you felt on your throat and your neck, like a yoke, dissolves. The upper part of your back, between your shoulder blades, opposite your heart, relaxing. A connection made with the back and the front. Reminds me of the Kemetic ancient deity. Everybody calls him by his Greek name, Anubis, but it's Anpu over there in Africa and Egypt. He's the deity that takes you into the netherworlds, takes you all the way down into the lowest depths of yourself to release all that stagnated energy. Why? Because your heart was heavier than a feather. But when your heart was lighter than a feather, then you were freed to go into the heavens. That's when your body was placed in the pyramid, which is like a big tomb anyway. You go into the soul of you, which is the queen's chamber. And then you step into the king's chamber, which is the spirit of you. But in reality, you need both. You can't operate with one without the other. You can't operate as on a chessboard. Chess teaches you how it's done. The queen is the only one that can go any direction she wants in 1 or 2 steps or the whole board. King can only go 1 step at a time, but in any direction he wants. Think of your mind, the inner you, as the soul, the queen, the soul of the womb. And inside the womb are all of these little thoughts, but they're infinite. All these degrees of passion, all these degrees of life, all these degrees of light. And you relax into it. And you listen. And this is where you're standing on the threshold of silence. And images come and go. Joyful images that speak of harmony and peace and grace. You feel greater love for yourself. But now you don't have to rush, because you can feel the river of silence ebbing, flowing in and out, soothing every part of you. Now you're letting joy, the true joy, be released. The joy was never outside of yourself. One of my ancient guides, both of the beloved Akhenaten and Nefertiti, said to me once, when they start to look at your cells and your DNA, They say your DNA holds the blueprint. It's no accident that out of the Orion constellation, Sirius A, which is more white, and Sirius B, which is blue flame. And during the solar sun sign of Leo, called the Lion's Gate, is when everything gets in alignment. The three pyramids are in alignment with Sirius, the blue star, Sirius B. So, whose blueprint? Print like a fingerprint. We could follow you. Blueprint. That means you got a part of that within you, in your remembrance. And it opens itself up to you every year. You should have greater joy, peace, harmony, and happiness. So that little miniature creative pathwork meditation I just did and slid it right into silence for you. Just go within, be quiet this day, feel the joy, feel the happiness, feel the peace, feel the harmony. And know that whatever you decide to do it based on the joy that you have there naturally. Because when you have the joy there naturally for yourself, you will always say the right things and you will do the right things. But you don't have to be perfect at all. You're going to show up and be present. Because when you show up and be present, 99.9 times out of 10, joy will be there. Joy will meet you at the crossroads. Another word for joy is grace. Another word for grace or divine grace is compassion and understanding. Allow yourself to feel your own thoughts before they come into the form of words. And whatever your joy is that you can envision, it has to be a joy that's not only for you, but for the highest good of everything and everyone else around you. Why? Because you don't need to create an imbalance for yourself and then someone else. Take a deep breath now. Sip on the wisdom key for today. The joy of being you is more powerful when you can envision it. Hold a vision within yourself. Let it move throughout the brain, slide down past the eyes, the brow center, bathing the crown of the head and the base of the skull and the throat area, falling into the chest where the heart is. Repeat, the joy of being me is more powerful when I can see the truth of who I am. The joy of being me is more powerful when I can see, I can envision the truth of who I am. I affirm this to be true. I see this as my truth in this moment, and therefore I decree that it is my truth in this moment. Just go into that space. Allow yourself to flow in the oneness of who you truly are. This is Wisdom Keys. I'm Brother Francis. Today's date was August the 19th. Happy birthday to anybody who has a birthday under the sign of Leo, going into Virgo next week. May you have an awesome day, a magical day, a great tomorrow. Tomorrow will be, I believe, Swanda with Michelle, with her beautiful wisdom. As you know, if you don't know, every Monday, Audrey Wilson from the UK speaks Whispering Truths, but she's going to be away for a couple of weeks. She'll be back in September. On Tuesdays is Donna of Dominion Tarot, who gives you the energy card of the day and a special topic and does card readings. Resident Essentials is a place where we all can come together and assist each other in moving our lives, as she says in so many words. I'm just going to paraphrase it, one day at a time. Understand that you have value and that your words and your life counts too on the planet. My grace is your grace. Until next time, I'll be here next Thursday. By the way, I won't, any of you in Albuquerque in the area Saturday and you plan on coming this Saturday for meditation, I'm not going to be there this Saturday. Should be back next Saturday, but I'll keep you informed through Resident Essentials, the group. Anyway, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, too.